name's Dawn. I'd like to introduce you to my 4-day trip to Cairo, Egypt, to see the pyramids of Giza. The 3 pyramids of Giza are located in a national park, and the city of Cairo extends right to the borders of that park. Where the borders begin, you see desert. Here is my traveling companion Richard on a camel. Renting camels is still a business, though not as big a one as in the past. In the distance lies the suburbs of Cairo. As you can see, the landscape is totally barren surrounding the pyramids. One can drive by the pyramids in your car within 20 or 30 meters. We rented a car and driver for the day. Here's our driver with me sitting in the car, sitting at the public car park for viewing the pyramids. We're up on quite a hill, so we get a good view. Here's a picture of the 3 pyramids with Richard cautiously peering over my shoulder. This is a museum next to the pyramids. I didn't go in, but I think it contains a ship or barge from the Nile River. Now we're getting much closer to a pyramid. In the foreground you can see the large limestone blocks that were used to construct the pyramid. At one time the pyramids were covered with a marble capping, but this has been removed for building purposes. Only a bit of marble remains at the very peak, as you can see. Here tourists are lining up to pay to visit a tomb. The entrance to the tomb is located right at the bottom, next to the ticket shed. This is a much better view of tourists entering the tomb. You can also see the large blocks that were used to construct the pyramid. Here's a close-up photo of the pyramids. You can see it would not be easy work climbing the pyramids from one limestone block to the next.
This is solo photo of the Queen's Chamber in the Great Pyramid of Giza.
Here's the Sphinx that guards the entrance to the pyramids. I thought it would be a large carving, but actually it's very small. Thanks, viewer, for joining Richard and myself on our brief visit to the pyramids of Giza in Cairo, Egypt. Hi, viewer. Thanks for joining me on this quick tour through the Cairo Museum to view the remains of the pyramids. My name's Dawn, and here I am getting my shoes shined. One thing I noticed in Egypt is you cannot take photographs of people without their permission. Egyptians hate it. We entered the 100-year-old museum through a magnificent wrought iron fence, past two tiny Sphinx-like figures, and progress in. On the way, we hired the services of a guide, a retired lawyer with a PhD in philosophy. We end up paying him $35 Australian for 3 hours of work. There's nothing left in the pyramids themselves. Even the tombs have been taken to the museum. This is the inside lining of a tomb from one of the pyramids. Our guide takes us through the museum. Bodies were buried within these huge containers to the right. Our guide explains about the early, middle, and late kingdoms and about the upper and lower Nile region. There's far too much to take in on one short outing. He knows the names of all the pharaohs for all the statues that we see. He tells us the significance of many animals and plants to the Egyptians, such as this Egyptian dog. The hallways go on and on, 3 mammoth stories of hallways filled with artifacts. We get to see mummies. To actually see a mummy unwrapped, there's a $10 fee. In 1922, Howard Carter, a British archaeologist, found a tomb of King Tutankhamun filled with all his personal belongings. This is an original photograph showing what it looked like at the time within the tomb. The layout of the tomb was like in this drawing. King Tutankhamun was the highlight of the visit. It was like entering a pharaoh's palace. We could see everything that belonged to him, such as this personal bed. Here is his chair with our guide standing beside it. We admire his personal chariot with various belongings below it. We see various items of clothing. That tiny little thing at the back is actually a leather condom that can be strapped into place for child protection. I think this could be a royal drummer. Another bed from King Tut's tomb. He was buried with lots of food, and these are jars with seals at the top. I don't know if this is marble, but the carvings are exquisite with hieroglyphics up the side. You see here some of King Tut's shields for use in war from the royal chariot. I always thought boomerangs were Australian, used by Aborigines, but they were in widespread use, as you see here, almost 6,000 years ago in Egypt. A very interesting painting of the pharaohs. Yet another of King Tut's beds. Mummies were found in various layers of coverings, sometimes, such as with King Tut, surrounded by gold. This 22-kilogram solid gold head was found over the mummy. I'm impressed at the elaborate coverings for the mummy. Here's yet another of King Tut's chariots. Hi viewer, thanks for joining me on this quick tour through the Cairo Museum to view the remains of the pyramids. My name's Don, and here I am getting my shoes shined. One thing I noticed in Egypt is you cannot take photographs of people without their permission. Egyptians hate it. We entered the 100-year-old museum through a magnificent wrought iron fence, past two tiny Sphinx-like figures, and progress in. On the way, we hired the services of a guide, a retired lawyer with a PhD in philosophy. We end up paying him $35 Australian for 3 hours of work. There's nothing left in the pyramids themselves. Even the tombs have been taken to the museum. This is the inside lining of a tomb from one of the pyramids. Our guide takes us through the museum. Bodies were buried within these huge containers. Hello viewer, I do appreciate your company on this journey to tour the Mosque of Muhammad Ali in Cairo, Egypt. My name's Don on the right, and to my left is the driver who gave us a tour around Cairo for the day. Did a great job. The mosque is located on the Citadel, an ancient fortification that dates back to the Crusades. It's the largest mosque in Cairo. It's constructed with alabaster, or a white stone, which makes it very attractive. In some places it seems to be all turrets and cupolas. Let's take a look inside, see what it's like. This is the tomb of Muhammad Ali himself inside the mosque. We leave the mosque and explore the Citadel itself, which has numerous other buildings and a great view overlooking Cairo. There's a high degree of haze in Cairo. The city's quite polluted, so it's not possible to see very far, only a kilometer or two. There's some other very well-known mosques that can be viewed very well from the Citadel. Cairo buildings are not high-tech. They look very dilapidated. Well, back to the Citadel for a bite to eat, and then we're moving on. Thanks, viewer, for joining me on the tour of the Mosque of Muhammad Ali. in Cairo, Egypt. Have a good day.